Well, this book has been out for a little while, and I've made a couple of it from this. I've done United, I've done Liberty, and now we're going to do this Independence one. But yet again, I'm going to make it a little wild, a little crazy, and some of you may think I'm crazy. I really don't know how this one's going to turn out, but I kind of was inspired to use where it's kind of got 3 similar prints in here. I was kind of inspired to do the same thing, just a little crazy. So you've seen these prints all separately, so I'm afraid to show you them all together. It might be a whole lot going on. This may be the ugliest quilt I ever make, but there's only one way to find out. So with our Independence quilt, we've got a pinwheel in the middle and then kind of this like log cabin-y look. So let me show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using these. I had 3 different ones still. This one we just used in that evening stroll quilt, but there's enough of it to make its way into here. So I'm a little scared. I think it could be crazy. I think it could be fun. It could just be one that we go, yeah, that happened. That was a fever dream. Are we sure Emily didn't still have influenza A when she made that quilt? I don't know. It's just so happy looking. It's so bright and cheery, and I love stars. I don't know which one's gonna go where because there's no method to this madness. So maybe I'll take a look and see. The pink I seem to have a lot of, so that could be a binding. The orange, we'll see how much I have. And the green's just kind of there because they wanted to come to the party. So let's all cross our fingers and cross our toes that this Independence quilt turns into something not super crazy. And let's go cut it out. Okay, so I started to second guess this quilt so much I posted it on my Instagram and didn't cut it until I had the final results. So here's the poll, and as a result 90% of you said yes, do this crazy quilt. So we're gonna do this crazy quilt. So here's the squares for the half square triangles, and then this is the binding. I had a piece of the orange that was left over from backing, so there's plenty of that. And then these are all odd amounts of the same width of strip. So we're gonna see how this turns out. So we're all in this together now. So I'm gonna start by making half square triangles because there's 6 of this one and 6 of that one. So this is probably the least amount of half square triangles on the quilt, and it's gonna be all of that. So let's lose our minds and do this. Here we go.
So here are two wild and crazy blocks, but they're actually, I think they're not as wild and crazy and possibly hideous as I thought they were going to be. So these are going to piece together and then underneath as well. So it's going to make that little pinwheel in here. And then it's going to be a little quilt top. So this one's a small one, less than with the fabric wide. So I think it's going to cut them together really quick. It's going to go together. I think this is my border. I don't even know what's left anymore. So I was just grabbing strips and cutting. So let's go make our blocks and our quilt top and call this one done.
Well, maybe I should have worn a less patterned shirt, but I think this quilt is loud enough and kind of overpowers it on its own. So we know who the star of this quilt video is. If you don't love this chaotic, colorful quilt, I don't know if we could be friends. I'm just kidding. We can totally still be friends. This is so chaotic. It came together really well. I did a lot of it at my retreat back in April. So now that we're in September, as I'm finishing this, all I really had to do was sew the blocks into each other and then make the big block and then put the borders on. And there's just the one, compared to a lot of the 3-yard quilts, there's just the one single border. I think it's because a lot of it got used up in here and these little half square triangle guys. But I think it's really fun. It's really wild. It's really weird. Which is kind of what I went into when I was like, should I do 3 of the same fabrics in different colors or should I let it be chill? And I'm kind of glad I didn't let it be chill because it's kind of fun and weird and wild. And then when I was looking at it through the camera, like you see this block here, obviously, but then in some ways, like this kind of middle here kind of pops out. I don't know if you can see it, but it's almost like it has like a 3D effect, which feels really weird, but it's kind of cool. This would be interesting to make like super scrappy, like where everything pink is, just have like all pinks, but like from my stash. So I don't know if I'll do this one again. It's kind of wild and weird. Maybe I would take it and do like a 3rd row, so it's kind of, or 3rd column, I guess. So then it's more of a square of a square. There's lots of options you can do with it. So I would be intrigued. I'm interested to see if any of you have done this quilt because I would love to see your take on it because mine is weird and I will admit that. So let me give you a close-up look of this weirdness and then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to quilt it because there's a lot going on. And part of me was like, should I take it over the top and just quilt stars on stars on stars, or let the fabric be the focal and just let the quilting be neutral? So I guess we'll have to all find out together. So let me give you an up close look at this weirdness, this crazy coolness, and we'll be back real soon to quilt it, bind it, and move it out of that whip pile into a completed pile.